I'm Dr. Corey Calkins. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about neural networks and their role when we're talking about anxiety, phobias, and trauma and treatment for these conditions. So, neural networks essentially are an intricate network of neurons that are connected in the brain. So, these neurons communicate with one another and form pathways in the brain that end up being responsible for certain functions of our brain. So those functions could be emotional regulation, physical sensations, physical movements, memory, different cognitive processes. Essentially, anything we do involves a neural network in our brain. Now, to understand neural networks, you want to understand that what fires together wires together. So when we have a situation occur, what we see, what we take in on a sensory level, what we see, what we hear, what we're feeling, our internal processes, our thoughts, our emotions, everything involved in that ends up getting encoded into our brain along that neural network, right? So now if you think about this from a survival perspective, that's very important because anyone who's ever had something even mildly uncomfortable or distressing occur knows that you remember that later. And when you smell that thing or you hear a song or you hear a sound outside, those things are going to trigger the neural network associated with that original experience, and it's going to pull you into that experience, making it present right now so that you can react to that experience in a way where you can protect yourself from anything threatening. Of course, we form neural networks around positive things as well. It's just the trauma-related networks are the ones that are very difficult to change because they are wired so rigidly together and hard to change in order for survival. Your brain is basically saying, whatever that was that happened to me before, that's not ever happening to me again. So anything that reminds me of that, anything that feels similar to that on any level, I'm going to go ahead and avoid it. And the problem is avoidance, which we'll get into when we talk about memory reconsolidation and EMDR. Avoidance actually prevents your healing from anxiety and phobias and PTSD. But that's what our brain is wired to do because it's wired to stop yourself from getting hurt again. So what fires together wires together. And even though in trauma networks, those things are incredibly rigid and difficult to change, a lot of people will tell me, my brain's stuck, my brain won't let me. That is true. It's an automatic response, but there are ways to change it. Those networks are adaptable. They can be reorganized. And in another video, I'll talk a little bit about memory reconsolidation and how we can change some of those networks in order to make them more tolerable, less intense, and less distressing.